Welcome to Tales from Tubi.
Hey Tubi friends! Welcome to a brand new episode of Tales from Tubi. For those of you who don't know what Tales from Tubi is, this is where I take my love of Tubi and my love of horror movies and I dive through the depths of Tubi to try to find those diamonds in the rough for you to add to your watch lists. All the movies I talk about are available on Tubi at the time of recording, so hopefully if you come to this later, they're still here. For this episode, I'm doing something a little different. Usually, I just bring you one movie in Tales from Tubi. This time, I'm going to bring you four. I'm going to kind of do Letterboxd Fridays. They always post your last four Letterboxd watches. I was kind of inspired by that of like, Tales from Tubi needs to have a little something like that. I was going to call it like Tales from Tubi, Terrors from the Tomb, or something like that. But I kind of wanted to give you a mix of a few watches that I've been watching recently, and they don't necessarily need to be recently, but a few watches to go through because this month on Tubi, this month in May, they added quite a few, especially horror movies, to the library. Like, I was going through the list and like looking through Tubi at the beginning of May, and I was like, oh my gosh, they added so much. A few of these that I have this week are ones that have been on a watch list for a long time, and they just dropped on Tubi. So I was like, you know what? I want to watch these. Let's talk about them. Just kind of put them all together. But before we dive into this, I just want to say, join myself and many creators from all around the world as we take part in Livestream for the Cure. I absolutely love being a part of this event. My buddy Nick, he has put it on. This is the 9th Livestream for the Cure. All content creators from all around the world. We all do kind of a segment and raise money for cancer research. He has raised a ton of money through this 9 years of doing it. But join us Friday and Saturday, the 16th and 17th. I will be on Friday at 11 p.m. Come, hang out, chat with us, donate if you can. It is just a fantastic event. All right, let's dive into it. Let's dive into my Tubi watches. Terrors from the Tomb, or whatever I'm going to call it. I'm still trying to think of a name to go with this whole mix-up of the four, or does Tales from Tubi just convert over to this, and then from time to time I drop full reviews? I don't know. I'm kind of working through that. We'll see. So the first film on my list is called How to Kill Monsters from 2023. The sole survivor of a blood-drenched massacre must team up with a ragtag bunch of rookie cops and lawbreakers to defend a police station from an invasion of monsters from another dimension. This is directed by Stuart Spark. It stars Lindsay Crane, Aaron Dennis, Daniel Thrace, and so many others. And this is a film that I saw a trailer for last year, I think it was. And I was like, oh my gosh, this looks so fun. And I need to see this. I need to see this movie whenever I get a chance. I never got a chance to rent it or anything like that because, I watch so much stuff. Sometimes things just slip through the cracks. This popped up on Tubi right at the beginning of May. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had almost forgotten about the movie. Immediately, I think I watched it that day I saw that it was on there. And I'll say this movie was a blast. I mean, it's silly. It is fairly gory at times. You could just tell that everyone involved was having a blast with it. There's these creatures coming after them, a few bloody kills, bloody monster mayhem. My biggest complaint with this whole thing is it was lit very dark in a lot of it. There was a lot of scenes where I don't want to say it was difficult to see what was going on, but it made it a little harder. I mean, I don't know why it was lit so darkly. It took away a bit from it. I think this movie could have been that much better had it not, those pieces kind of, I don't want to say turned me off, but it kind of knocked it down a little bit for me. It was enjoyable. There's a lot of jokes. It's silly. It's just dumb fun. And I mean, you're going in to watch a movie called How to Kill Monsters. And if you see the poster, I mean, the poster, it's this building with these tentacles coming around it, you know, Cthulhu in the background, someone with a chainsaw, an axe, and a weird looking knife and a monster. Like, just looking at the artwork, title, you know what you're in for. This has obvious H.P. Lovecraft influences with it. There's the cosmic horror, there's not really possession, but like evil demons, kind of demonic monsters. I mean, it starts off with kind of this ritual that happens, and it doesn't stop until the end. It goes. So this is a recommend for me because overall I did enjoy it. Like I said, my complaint was the lighting in many parts of it, but overall I had fun, and this is a movie that I think I could put on and watch multiple times just because it's dumb fun, you know, in the vein of stuff like Night Watchman or Crabs or any of that type of stuff. Go check out How to Kill Monsters on Tubi. All right, next we have another one that I was looking forward to checking out, and that is Rippy from 2024. Young police officer Maddie is determined to live up to her deceased father's legacy. Her courage is put to the test when locals are found brutally ripped to shreds by a zombie kangaroo. As the undead beast leaves a trail of carnage, Maddie, with the help of her eccentric Uncle Schmitty and resilient Aunt Donna, must embark on a high-stakes battle to save the town. This is directed by Ryan Coonan. It stars Michael Biehn, Tess Holbrook, Aaron Peterson, Angie Milliken, and many others. And it's based off of a short film called Waterborne that the director Ryan Coonan did in 2014. So 10 years later, feature film on it was released, and this movie is very mixed for me. You're seeing, title for the movie, Rippy. It is a zombie kangaroo that is going around killing people. There are some bloody kills in it. There are some good moments in it. My complaint with this film is that it took itself too seriously. It wanted to be like a serious monster movie like Jaws, and not so much like some of the other silly ones out, like Slaughterhouse is the first one that pops in my head. I wanted it to be a little more silly carnage, especially the way Michael Biehn's character is. He's a little over the top. I mean, there's a couple other characters. They're like almost over the top, but not like that over the top silly comedic that I kind of wanted this. I wanted the kangaroo to just, there was carnage, but I just wanted it more of a lighthearted craziness rather than it taking itself so seriously. I think it was hard to take it seriously because of the way the kangaroo looked and the way the kangaroo kind of attacked people. It seemed like it wanted to be goofier, but then it also is like, you know, we want to make this serious. I don't know. And then kind of the way it turns into this is there's a zombie-esque element to this towards the end that I'm just like, man, you kind of missed the mark on really kind of going for it. I still enjoyed it. It's kind of a middle of the road movie for me. I went and watched the short film Waterborne after, and that one short, sweet, to the point, and I really enjoyed the short film. The short film worked for what it was, the short story, and it felt a little more silly than the movie tried to be. Rippy gets a mild recommend for me. I did enjoy much of it. I just wanted it to be more over the top and more silly fun. All right, next up is Death Warmed Up from 1984. A kid is hypnotized by a scientist to kill his parents and ends up in a mental institution. As a grown-up, he returns to seek revenge over the scientist. This is directed by David Blythe. It stars Michael Hurst, Margaret Umbers, William Upjohn, Norrell Scott, and others. And this is a New Zealand horror film that, I mean, this fits right in line with the early films of Peter Jackson, like Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, Dead Alive. This is just a wild film, and it is, I mean, it really, towards the end, like the third act, it goes completely bonkers. And this is, like I said, right up there with those Peter Jackson movies that came out around this same time. And it's one of those, like, what was going on in the 80s, early 90s in New Zealand? They were making some wild shit that I'm all in for. I had never heard of this movie until I put it on Tubi. I was kind of scrolling through and I saw the artwork, Death Warmed Up, and it's this doctor with a skull face with a mask on, and then there's this woman kind of just laying on a table, and he's got a scalpel. I was like, okay, I need to see this, because for Tubi Tuesday, we did international films, and this is a New Zealand film, so I was like, oh, this fits the thing perfectly. I'm going to put this on, and it did not disappoint. It could have gone further for me, honestly. It could have gone wilder, a little more wild craziness through the middle, because it starts out strong. It slows down a bit in the middle. It kind of drags a little bit, and then it really picks up to this crazy third act. I mean, this is kind of what I wanted Rippy to be, is silly craziness like this. Wild, over-the-top, bloody mayhem. You know, if you love those old Peter Jackson movies, if you love just even trauma-esque movies, just wild, over-the-top craziness, Death Warmed Up is definitely one that you need to see if you have not seen it. It is a wildly good time that I think I definitely would rewatch again. It's just a fun time. All right, the last one for this week, for this little, foursome of Tales from Tubi films. Another one on my list that just came to Tubi. It's a movie called Faceless After Dark from 2023. Following her breakout role in a killer clown horror flick, Bowie now finds herself struggling to capitalize on its success. But when she is suddenly held hostage by an unhinged fan posing as that same killer clown, horror becomes her reality as she fights to survive the night and escape before he completes his sinister plan to recreate the film's fatal plot. This is directed by Raymond Wood. It stars Jenna Cannell, Danny Kang, Danielle Lynn, Jason McDonald, and others. And the reason I wanted to see this is it stars Jenna Cannell, who was in the first Terrifier film. She was our main girl in that film. I loved her in that Terrifier film. I thought she was fantastic in that. And she's one of those actresses that I'm just like, man, she needs more roles. I think there was another movie, I don't remember what it was called. Oh, Night of the Missing, that she was in. When I first saw the trailer for this, I was like, ooh, this looks like it could be a good, interesting film. And it was. It absolutely was. She was amazing in this. Her performance alone got 5 stars. She knocked this one out of the park for what she does and what happens in this movie. I don't want to give anything away because there are some twists that shouldn't get spoiled for this film. This movie really felt like those early 2000s straight to DVD films with the bright colors, the music, the quick cut editing, and honestly, it felt like it could be, if anyone remembers the After Dark Horror Fest, the 8 Films to Die For series. It was only a few years long, but they came out, the whole bunch of DVDs came out. He was running the early 2000s. This movie felt like one of those films that you would have saw as part of that, or it would have been one of the DVDs that was part of that would have said 8 Films to Die For right on it. It had that early 2000s feel to the film, and there's nothing against it. Like, I absolutely love those movies. The 8 Films to Die For, the Horror Fest films, I've seen a good chunk of them. For back then, they were a really good source to get indie horror, because finding indie horror is, I mean, obviously so much easier now. So much more of it comes out now. We're in this great time for horror. Not only the big budget horror that you see in the theaters, the independent horror, the kind of, I call them a little bit higher independent horror movies that have been coming out, like Terrifier, Screambox and Shudder, IFC, and other companies like that. They have these films that have come out independently, the smaller studio films. And that's what I love. I love watching all of these movies. Like, I try to consume as much as possible. But Faceless After Dark, it has some good commentary, not only on fans, not really fans in general, but like overzealous fans, way people kind of interpret horror and making what you know. We'll leave it at that. Like I said, Jenna Cannell is fantastic in this movie. Like, her performance alone gets 5 stars. She is great. The movie does have some weak parts to it, as far as some of the story, some of that early 2000 quick cut editing and stuff like that. The supporting cast isn't as strong as she is, but I want to see more horror movies with her. She is fantastic. I would love to see more of her do more horror. This one is also a recommend from me this week. Like, all 4 of these movies, I recommend checking out on Tubi. They're all very different films. I'd probably say out of the 4, Faceless After Dark and How to Kill Monsters are the top 2. Death Warmed Up right after that, and Rippy kind of at the bottom. All very different, but all entertaining watches. Well, there you go. There are some Tubi watches for you this week. We're calling it Terrors from the Tomb. But let me know any that you've been watching so far this month. You can hit me up on social media, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram. Just look for @oldmanbrad. Or you can email me, oldmanbradpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know some Tubi watches that you've been doing this month, or some that, I should add to my watch list for possible future Tales from Tubi. Well, that would do it for this Tales from Tubi. Just make sure you subscribe to the show and you will never miss any of this series, any of my regular shows, or my other series Versus. I will be back soon with a brand new episode. Just keep it right here as I continue to dive through the depths of Tubi to find those diamonds in the rough. We'll talk to you later, everybody.